uncertainty is the worst thing for a business because you can't plan, you can't know how many buses do I need, who do I need to hire, do I need to, downsize the offices you have in Victoria? Like, what do we need to do? And I was just speaking with a gentleman this morning who looks after the pub industry, and he was saying with 2 days' notice, these pubs were shut in Liverpool, and now the brewers didn't even know. So they've got all this, brew and ale, and now they're sitting on it because they didn't know. So it's this, and I've spoken to so many entrepreneurs that say, I need lead time. I need to know what's going to happen. Otherwise, it's almost doubly worse for them as businesses.
Yeah, we have the same thing really. You're making decisions live with information that's being released at the last minute. And I actually think back to March where we were saying, okay, well, how bad could this get? I guess we could be 30-40% down, and we're going to have to drop off a couple of buses. Then almost a day later, we were saying, no, actually, we're going to be 60-70% down. And then a day later, it's like, oh no, we're going to have to close tomorrow. And it moved so quickly back in March, and like nothing you could ever imagine, really. And so I think we've learnt to try and be agile, and so we've got a very clear plan for what it is that we do, what service we run, what staff we're going to bring in, depending on what happens. And that's as good as we can be, really. We just, we internally plan and scenario plan ourselves and get ready for what hits us. Yeah.
One of the things I've been talking about lately is it feels like there's a disproportionate response to the virus. And the hospitality sector in general, I think, is responsible, according to Public Health England, for like 3.3% of transmissions. And I'm guessing tourism probably isn't far behind that. And yet we see that industry almost targeted to be shut down. And I know a lot of people are frustrated, especially because they took measures, some of the best measures, probably some of the cleanest places you can be, because usually their business is keeping things clean. You guys have open air buses. I mean, for God's sakes, and again, you have all the contactless pieces as well. Is it frustrating when you see the government shut down industries that actually are crucial for the economy and you would think would be the smartest ones to keep open?
It is a tricky area. So in fact, funnily enough, one of the things that strikes me at the moment is that our business is unlikely to be shut down. Because we run essentially a service operating license under TfL, so we're deemed like a service bus. Although we're not, 'cause we're an open air bus and it's outdoors, so it's much safer than a service bus, I would say, COVID wise. But actually, with the new coronavirus job support scheme that's been released, and the changes to that the Chancellor announced in the last week or so. The government will support businesses that they force to close, but actually ones like ours that probably won't be told we have to close, but will actually not have any custom, won't get that support. So kind of ironically, in some regards, actually, there's a scenario that says I'd prefer us to be told to close, so we could claim effectively what is the new government support, rather than what I think, based on my reading of the rules, will happen now, which is that we may have to close anyway, but we're not actually told to. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think we're seeing a similar thing with the pubs in London, where they're not told to close, but you can't go there and meet anyone else. So why would you go? So they don't qualify for a job retention scheme, and so they kind of slowly bleed out.
Yes.
Right.
That's my fear. Yeah.
Right. And same with you, because you just don't have customers.
Yeah.
Right?
So, and in some regards, I'd like to say it's the government's fault for shutting us down, but actually there are no tourists, and that's the biggest existential challenge for us is actually that. And ideally, what we'd want is at least the government to recognise and support the fact that there are no tourists, and therefore, what are we to do?